Hey folks, this is Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and well, this will be the next knife that I review, but I'll give you a short video right now to talk about the response to the survey that I asked you. What is a budget knife? How much do you spend when you want to buy a budget knife in US dollars? Well, I got about 140 responses from you guys. Thank you very much. That's an awesome number of responses. I can get a very good idea out of that. Now, the greatest number of respondents for a single value is $40. There were 23 of you that said $40. There were 22 of you that said $50. That's very much the same number of responses. There were a number of people that said 39. There was a number of people that said like 45. And there's numbers above and numbers below. There was only one person that was above 60. And that person said $95, I think it was. No, there was two that were above 60. And that was 95, and there was another number. And so not that many that were right up on the high end, but there was like 7 responses that were $5 and lower. And when I checked them out, they were very close to one another. So I suspect either one person or two people voted a number of times with ridiculous numbers, because a $5 knife, you're buying garbage. It's just, that's the fact. If you're buying a knife for $5 US, chances are extremely high you're buying a piece of total junk. Now, there have been a couple of San Remu small knives that have been, quite close to the $5 mark. That's true. But, that's ridiculous. And so that number of responses, if I got rid of those numbers and recalculated the numbers, it was over 40, but under 50. And so my number that I'm going to use for 2019 at least, I'm going to say a budget knife is a knife that costs $50 US or less. And that's what we're going to call a budget knife. Now, the thing is, Best Tech, a lot of these knives are like 52. So I'm going to give a fudge factor, not a big one, but a small fudge factor, but it's basically $50 US or less. That's a budget knife, according to the majority of the viewers of Canadian Cutting Edge. Now, another channel might have viewers that think a budget knife is, $100 or less. It's just because I've got a different audience, potentially, than some other channels have. So thank you guys for filling out that survey. It made a big difference to me to be able to figure out exactly, or more accurately, what that number is for my viewers. I appreciate it very, very much. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then the last half of this video is going to show you who has won the Patreon giveaway for December 2018. And I do that draw always at the end of the month, so here for January, so keep watching. And now to announce the Patreon winner. Before I do that, in case I've got some newer people on this channel who are not familiar with this, I'm open to getting supporters through Patreon. If you support this channel through Patreon with $2 a month or more, that's US dollars, at the end of the month, I put your name in a draw after Patreon has processed the donations, and everybody's whose donation went through gets put into a list, and I use Google's random number generator. This month there were 29. In December there were 29 supporters at the end of December, and it generates a number, and I go through the list and I choose that number and the name that's associated with it, and you get to pick one of the knives that I reviewed that month, usually from the better knives that I reviewed that month. And so I've got some of the better knives that I reviewed that month here, and including the best ones, in December 2018. So now for January, I will mail this to you, and the winner is number 29. And that is Sinissa. I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, I'm sorry. S. I believe you won once in 2017. You've been a sponsor, a Patreon supporter for a long time. This is one of my supporters. He doesn't make very many comments in the comment section. It's just a quiet supporter. He lives in what used to be called Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm not sure how to say the names, but it's in that part of Europe that he lives. And here's your choices. From the fixed blades, you can choose the Buck 102. Unfortunately, I already gave away to my son-in-law, not my brother, my son-in-law, the HX Outdoors TD09, that bushcraft fixed blade. If you want something really inexpensive, here's the Enlan EW049, I think, 079, EW079, cheap. The Effengrow, this is the Effengrow, what number is this? EF42. So the EF42. From Best Tech, we've got the Toucan. From Kubi Knives, we've got the KU 162. And from Kubi Knives, still back in December, there was this knife. This is the KU 179, the Eris. So carbon fiber handle scales and a D2 blade. From HX Outdoors, whoops, there's this knife, and I fixed it so that it actually has a good detent now. And this is the ZD-023. And since I reviewed it in December, this is the best knife from 2018. My favorite budget folding knife of the whole year. This is the P105K from Rake. And go ahead, if you like this one, Sinisa, go ahead, choose this one. I'll just go out and buy myself another one. Or better yet, I'll probably buy one to get sent directly to your place. That would be probably cheaper, whichever way works out to be the most economical way to mail it to you. So if you want this one, fine. I really don't mind, honestly. Even though it's my favorite, you can choose this. I'll just get another one. This is a very high value also. This sells around $50. This Kubi is a little bit cheaper. I think this is around $30, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers. Of course, Best Tech and Buck. Those are the more expensive ones, or the cheaper ones like this one or this one or this one. Choose whichever one you want, and I'm going to send it to you, probably with some extra goodies as well. I do this every month for one of my Patreon supporters because I very much appreciate the support that you guys give me. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, I'll put a link down below, or you can just go to patreon.com/CCE for Canadian Cutting Edge, and you can join up that way if you want to. No obligation, no pressure. Thank you very much to my Patreon supporters. Thank you to everybody who's helped me out. Thank you for watching this little video on how much a budget knife is worth. So for 2019, that's about $50 US or less, just roughly. And thanks for watching this little video. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.